Bernice has traveled from North Carolina to Pennsylvania and down to Virginia and landed with us, and we are so happy. Yes. Now, several years back, the Dalai Lama gave a charge to all of us. If every 8-year-old were taught to meditate to the end of violence, that's paraphrased. I brought him today. Because this woman took this charge as her mission, and we are the benefactors of her mission. So Bernice, Gigi, yes. Come on.
Good morning, everybody. Normally, I'm happy in my little one-room classroom over there, but I'm happy to be here. I'd forgotten about the energy in the sanctuary. It just feels so good. Now, well, actually, my talk, thanks, David, has already been done. It's been summed up in the wonderful inspirational reading that Sarah found. Your song, Little Creature, took one of the lines out of my speech. It's been done. But since I wrote it, I'm going to deliver it anyway. And the title of my talk today, as you see from the program, is Life is a Boomerang. And it truly is. Because everything we think, say, and do comes back to us, just like a boomerang that you would launch into the air. Now, I asked my spirit guides to help me find an interesting boomerang, and I was led to this. For my talk, it doesn't get more interesting than this. 2 words on a boomerang sums up my talk completely, okay? Now, I need to say, can you imagine my shock when I saw a boomerang that says karma returns? Those guys, if you call on them, they don't let you down. Now, I need to say that what I'm going to say is known by most of you. It's intended for those of us who do not. So, anybody else, you have my permission to take a little nap. Just don't snore. I will be offended if you snore. Now, knowing that abundance is something that most of us desire, but often we don't achieve, I'm going to talk about a sure way to achieve abundance using the principles of the boomerang. Now, abundance is relatively easy. It's already encoded into the universe. I mean, think of an apple, an orange. I mean, how many seeds are in them? Take a watermelon. Not the GMO seedless watermelon. The original watermelon, like God made it, with lots of black seeds in it. There are enough seeds in one watermelon to plant a whole acre of watermelons. Abundance is our birthright. As Oprah would say, abundance is yours and yours and yours. God's wish for us is abundance. That is why He created the lush paradise with all of these fruit trees and whatnot for Adam and Eve to inhabit. Problem is that after the fall, abundance isn't handed to us on a silver platter. We have to create it by what we think, say, and do. Now, it's been said, and you've heard this in real estate, the three most important things are location, location, location. Well, in abundance, the three most important thing is give, give, give. If you give enough with the right heart and motive, you are assured of abundance because of a universal law governing giving and receiving. And this law is the law of compensation. Now, I will be talking today about the law of compensation as written in a book that was written by doctors Norma Milanovich and Shirley McCoon. I had to practice that. I thought I was going to say Shirley MacLaine. Okay. Mary Ann Williamson's book on this law has an easy to read title. It's called The Law of Compensation. Now, the law of compensation is an extension of the law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect deal primarily with the events. If you take this action, then the effect will be this event. Well, the law of compensation deals with material and spiritual gains that we receive in life. Now, in the manifestation of this law, we see the visual effects of what we give as it's returned to us in gifts, money, inheritance, friendships, and other blessings. Now, you know that the lottery, anybody in here play the lottery? Nobody? Well, then you know the lottery has a Powerball that increases what you win when you win the lottery. The law of compensation has a multiplier too. And it is the law of tenfold return. And what that means, according to Master El Moya, when he gave a transmission to Norma and Shirley when they were writing the book, that if you give from your heart with the right motive aligned with spirit, the law of compensation repays you tenfold. And that supports what I learned as a child, that it's more blessed to give than receive. Now, the old folks, they didn't explain it. They just told me that, and I believed them. I didn't know why. Now I know why. Now, there is no doubt in my mind that the more you give, the more you will receive. In addition to what it says in the reading, Master Jesus also said, you reap what you sow. And today we say, what goes around comes around. The boomerang effect is as simple as that. Now, furthermore, the universe does not respond to need. The universe responds to deed. So if you need more, you got to give more. Now, as a Christian, I can think of no better way to ensure abundance than by tithing. Now, that's going according to what the Bible says. As a Christian, I'm going on the Bible, that you give 10% of your income to God through your church or to spiritual purposes or to wherever you receive your spiritual inspiration. tithing is as old as dirt. It's mentioned in the Bible as early as Genesis, when Abraham gave a tithe to Melchizedek, and Melchizedek blessed Abraham in between. Tithing is a win-win situation. First of all, it costs you nothing. Every dollar that you give, you can deduct dollar for dollar from your income tax. IRS allows unlimited charitable deductions. There is no limit on it. So every dollar you get, you can get back, so it costs you nothing. In addition to that, you fulfill the law. Besides that, the universe, through the law of compensation, is going to pay you back. And it depends upon your situation. You may get paid back tenfold from the law of compensation. Tithing is a no-brainer. Now, I've tithed for many years, and while I am not well off financially, I do receive what I need at all times. And it's my own fault that I'm not wealthy and not in the 1%. You see, the universe gave me an opportunity in 1977 to be in the 1%. In 1977, I was hired as the first female stockbroker in Norfolk, Virginia, at Merrill Lynch, the premier financial services firm at that time. So you have standing before you today a pioneer in 1977, blazing the path among the bulls and the bears for females and other minorities, but with no metaphysical knowledge. No wonder I blew the opportunity. But there was one woman that I blazed the path for that was exceedingly successfully and is financially independent in the 1%. Now, she befriended me for a reason that I could not fathom at the time. And she has bestowed unto me unbelievable financial gifts to me over the last 30 years. For example, there were 3 years where 3 years in a row, she gave her 2 sisters, her 2 nieces, and me $10,000 each. Now, she was doing estate planning. 1%ers have to do estate planning. Okay. So at that time, IRS allowed the first $650,000 of your estate to be tax exempt. And they allowed you to give $10,000 annually to as many people as you wanted to reduce this taxable estate, because estate taxes are higher than any other, and if you can keep that down, there's more to leave to the heirs. Now, like I said, I had no idea at the time why I was in the mix with the nieces and the nephews. I mean, the nieces and the sisters, but I do now. It was repayment from the law of compensation for my tithing. Now, and I've received money from her in lots of interesting ways. One of the most interesting to me, as well as that, was a couple years ago, gold was going through the roof. I think it topped out at like $1,500 an ounce. So gold parties became very popular. And you'd have a party, you'd invite your friend, your family, your friends, and they would sell their unwanted gold based on the weight of the gold and the price of gold that day. So you had a party, you got a percentage of the sales that night, and you got $10 for every person that booked a party. And when they had their party, you got a small percentage of their party. So I'm no fool. I invited my 1%er to my gold party. Okay? Mama didn't raise no fools. So she comes, and as I said, I did well. But a couple of days after the party, I get a check in the mail from her for over $500 and a little note that said that this was her proceeds from the party, and she wanted me to have it because she had only come to the party to help me. Now, I was very happy, needless to say. Now, I want to give you a small example of how this boomerang effects and the law of compensation works. My friend Ruth used to work with me. That's where we became friends for a while. And when she left, I gave her a little plant, which I'm sure is dead, as a parting gift. And then at work, one day, a young man came in with a beautiful purple orchid, my favorite color for an orchid. I was salivating over this orchid. And I said to myself, one day, I'm just going to bite the bullet and buy myself an orchid like that. Well, I said to him, don't kill that plant. Now, I didn't know it, but when other coworkers saw the plant on his desk, they said, don't kill that plant. Now, the next thing I know, he's standing at my desk, shaking with the orchid. I could see it, like the fear, after he told me, I could see the fear in his eyes. He said, Miss Bernice, I want you to have this plant. I'm afraid I'll kill it. I kill everything. Now, I'm enlightened, so I should have said something enlightening. Like, Ian, darling, fear is a negative. Fear puts dust in your eyes and hides the forces, spiritual forces, that are here to help you. You're not going to take this plant, kill this plant, and you just take the plant back to your desk, and your spirit guides will tell you how to keep it. But my lower self greedily took the positioned it on my desk, and my inner child was a happy camper. This is true. Okay, but I said all that to say, this is how it worked. I gave Ruth a plant, Ian gave me a plant. Oh, I didn't tell you. To my credit, I looked for a couple of weeks, and I found a beautiful hardy plant that Ian could not kill. And I looked the other day so that I could say this. It's still living. Okay. So, had to interject that because that's the boomerang effect. I gave Ruth a plant. Ian gave me a plant. I gave Ian a plant. Oh, and I forgot the other part. A month after, He was afraid that he was going to kill the plant. I killed the plant. But a month after that, my doorbell rings, and my friend is standing there with almost the same purple orchid. So now I can really do the boomerang effect. No. I give Ruth a plant, Ian gives me a plant, I give Ian a plant, my friend gave me a plant. What goes around comes around. Now, like me, many of us give, but we don't receive what we think we should receive. Now, I've been tithing for a long time, so to my monkey mind, I think I should have hit the lottery by 1997. Okay? But there are many reasons the book says that this does not occur. And one of them, and the most obvious one, is our conscious and subconscious beliefs, such as money is the root of all evil. That's a misquote of the Bible. The Bible said, the love of money is the root of all evil. And we also may think consciously or subconsciously that you can't be rich and spiritual. That too is untrue. Take Abraham in the Old Testament. Abraham was a millionaire. He had land as far as the eye could see, cattle all on the land, over 300 servants. Abraham was filthy rich. Yet God made the covenant with Abraham, a millionaire, when he's also spiritual. Now, also we need to keep in mind that life is a continuum. It's not just this lifetime that we're dealing with. There are all the past lives, the future lives. So some of us, unfortunately, and I might be one of them, are still paying off karmic debts from past lives. Or, I thought this was interesting, we could be starting a saving plan of good karma for the future, or even future lifetimes. And that rang a bell with me because I'm 72, and I know that there's lots of stuff that I have to resolve before I can evolve to this perfect being and go to be with Source. So I would assign a 99.999 probability that I'm returning to Earth Mystery School again and again and again. But Almoyer said that we should never despair of the law of compensation, that regardless of how you feel, you've been treated fairly. Have faith always, and know that this law is just, fair, and true. Patience is the key. Wait, and the gifts will be revealed. Another factor that enters into just compensation is the fulfillment of promises and contracts that we've made between lives. For example, suppose one of the things that you agreed to do in this incarnation was to learn to forgive. And you are able to achieve this to the degree that Master Jesus did when he died on the cross, and on behalf of the people that crucified him, he said, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." Now, let's say somebody has murdered your loved one, and you are able to say, I forgive, and that was your contract. and you fulfill that, you will be rewarded tenfold. And oftentimes those are the people that you see that have the Midas touch, and everything that they touch turns to gold. And another important aspect of the law includes payment to oneself. Too often we give to others, but we don't give to ourselves. Not paying yourself demonstrates a lack of self-love, and it creates an imbalance in the energy field that supports this natural flow of energy. Everyone must learn to love themselves and pay themselves. Then, in this state of mind, abundance flows. By not treating oneself with the same kindness that we bestow upon others, a cycle of deprivation is established. Balance must be achieved, and the law of compensation will be realized, and abundance is assured. So now I'm closing, so if anybody wants to sleep, you can wake up so that you can hear me say that be careful what you give to life. It will come back to you, just like a boomerang. It is the law of compensation. So, in honor of the God within you and the God within me, I say namaste.